Oh, well, good morning, everybody. Hey, get up on your feet for just a second. I want to see something. All right, I want to see something. I know. You guys feeling powerful? Do you feel powerful? You don't feel powerful? Well, let me ask you something. If you've ever won anything, if you ever won a prize, maybe you won one of those door prizes, something great happened to you, I want to count to 3, and you give me what that looked like at the moment of that wonderful news. All right, ready? You got something in mind? 1, 2, 3. Let's see it. Woo! Not one more time. Let me know. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Woo! All right, there we go. All right, sit down, sit down. I noticed people did some very similar things. All right, we made ourselves look a little bigger there. We kind of went, yeah! Spread ourselves out like that. And whenever you see somebody do that, now here's the one thing. I didn't ask for any vocalization, did I? No, but some of you provided that for me anyway. That was nice, right? You did the woo! Because whenever you see those two things together, it means either something great has happened, or there's alcohol. That's the thing, right? So sometimes if we are, when we need that jolt of joy, I believe that joy is an important part of success. Do you agree with that? How many would agree with this statement? If I enjoy what I do, I'll probably be better at what I do. Who says yes? Yeah, because you know what? It's part of our motivation. It's part of what drives us. It's the fuel that drives us. And so when I work with organizations, and they say, hey, look, we're dealing with issues having to do with engagement, and we don't really, we have this 70% of people not fully engaged. My question is, what are we doing to engage them? What each person brings to that experience. What are we doing? So let me ask you a question. There is somebody you probably work with, somebody you're fortunate enough to work with, hopefully, who brings you up. There's something about them that if they weren't there tomorrow, you would miss that person more keenly than anybody else. You got somebody in mind? Now, tell me right now, just shout it out. We can just do it nice and loud. Shout it out. What are some things that you would miss about that person if they weren't there in your experience tomorrow? What are some things? Their laughter. Right. They make me laugh because they laugh. They bring that joy to the moment. What else? Their energy, right? They bring passion and energy, and they lift everybody up with that. What else? Their ideas. Yeah, they've got great ideas. They bring value to the team. Anything else? Their smile. Right, now listen to the things we've mentioned so far. Their smile, their ideas, their laughter, right? Their positivity. We could go on and on. Nobody said their tremendous punctuality. Did they? Now, it's not that that's not important, but what each one of us value personally, first and foremost, are the things that create emotional value for us. You want to be a force for change. It can happen on a granular level. So when I speak to organizations, I'm speaking to the individual to say, you are the culture. You can create the culture. It doesn't have to come from the top down. It can come from anywhere in the hierarchy because each one of us has the potential to create granular change. And we do that by doing things like our humor, bringing that, the laughter, the smile, the joy, the passion, the ideas, lifting other people up. And most of the time, you know what? People are pretty open to it. Most of the time, I don't really have people come up and argue with me that, no, that's not a good idea. I can't really see the value of that. But every once in a while, I have run into some people who sometimes there's a little pushback. I was talking to a group of school board members at a big conference, state conference back in Ohio where I'm from. And a fella came up to me afterwards and he said, well, must be nice to be you. And I said, it's not bad. What do you mean? He says, man, all your choose and joy and changing your focus and all that stuff, great, you found a way around pain, good for you. And I said, no, sir, I've never found a way around pain. Because pain is part of living. But I want to make joy my default mode. And I want that to be the message that I send to others. You have the potential to choose joy as your default mode. That doesn't mean you're going to avoid pain. It means you want to get back to it as quickly as you can. So I'm going to share a little story with. I shared with him. How many dog lovers do we have here? I know you are. Right, dog lover. And I love dogs. My wife and I, when we've always had dogs, we went down to the animal shelter many years ago, and we found this little dog. It was a little full grown, but it was a little terrier mix. And because she was full-grown, I said, is this dog housebroken? We're going to take her into our house. We had carpeting. And she said, sure. Right? Which meant the dog was housebroken, but not fanatical about it, right? So we took the dog in, and, she would come over to the bed in the morning letting me know she had to go out. But there was no snooze button on the dog. So if I rolled over for a little more sleep, when I woke up, little gift on the rug. And the dog sitting beside it with no shame at all, just going, what did I say? That dog was training me. That dog should have been in HR is what that dog should have been, because she could train me. And through that reinforcement, I learned what I had to do. So one cold, dark winter morning, she came over to the bed, scratched the bed, got to go. I was so well trained at that point, I didn't even have to fully wake up. I just bounded out of bed, got to get the dog out, and I started running. I ran down out of the room, down the hall, down the stairs, dog in the lead, charging through the living room, making the turn for the back door, to let her out. And the TV stand I misjudged it. I didn't quite get around that. I didn't quite clear it. I mean, most of me did, yes. Just my little toe. That was the part that didn't clear. And there was a snapping sound. Right, and a moment before I felt the pain, it was like, what was that? Ah! And when the pain got to my brain, it was a pain that is really hard to describe. The only thing I can tell you is until that moment, I had no idea I could speak Spanish. I didn't know. Suddenly, I was fluent. I just was, ay, caramba, mi pie. My wife is a Spanish teacher. She woke up, understood every word I said. I think he hurt his foot. Now, that man that came up to me that day, must be nice to be you. Wouldn't he have loved to have been there? Right? And as I was rolling around, I'm sure if he had had advance notice, he would have had a bag of popcorn. Sitting on my couch going, hey, Dave, why don't you choose some joy? Right? But I couldn't have told you my middle name at that moment. I told this story to a group of folks at a hospital back in Columbus. A little lady came up to me afterwards. She said, but what happened to the dog? I said, I don't know. I think you missed the point. I was in agony. Right? So I went to the doctor. Has anyone here ever been to the doctor for a broken toe? Any of you? Yes, you have? Anyone? Yes? What did the doctor do for you? Just taped it together. Right. Taped it. You know what that's called? Nothing. Right? What it ought to be called is the easiest day in medical school. That's what they ought to call it, right? And did they x-ray it? Yes, x-rayed it, because you got to, bill for something. And so he came out with his x-ray of my foot. He goes, oh, that's broken. I said, yes, I thought the toenail on the bottom was a bad sign. I'm no doctor. What are you going to do? And that's when he did it. He said, hop up here on the table. He took some tape, taped the broken toe to the good toe beside it. That was it. I said, like something out of Home Improvement, right? Well, you can fix anything with duct tape. I said, that's it? He goes, well, unfortunately, very little we can do for a toe fracture of this nature. So my question, I have to admit, I lost my joy for a moment. I said, what if I'd lopped the toe off? Would you have a procedure then? He didn't realize I was being sarcastic. He got all excited. He said, yes. He goes, we could reattach it. You'd probably get full use back. And I was kind of amazed, and I thought, what is full use of the little toe, right? Just that. That's it. It's just the spread so you can remove sock lint. That's what that's for. So my question is, where does anything that I've talked about today have to do with this? In the moment that it happened, no. Life and death, certainly not. But after that pain that was not life and death, I had to make a choice. And we have to make choices. We have to be able, and humor is a wonderful way to kind of reframe. When our son was just a little guy, he was diagnosed with a childhood cancer, and our world changed in that moment. There was nothing funny about it, certainly we couldn't, but we found that humor was a way to cope day to day, a way to breathe in and out, a way to get through the next moment. So yes, even though it wasn't what we hoped for, humor was a saving grace. It was a way to bring joy and some coping to that moment so we could get to the next one. Right? So whatever your challenges are, maybe that's also something that you can use, that each one of us has the ability to reframe, and humor is a wonderful tool. It's not the only one, but it is one. So if you're thinking, well, that's great, Dave, but what about I'm not a funny person? Well, that's all right. You know what? I'm going to help you out. We can use the humor, the primary humor response, to create a different level of energy and joy, just like you did at the beginning. Woo! Sometimes we have to tell our brain what we want to feel, right? It has to be that I have an intention, and I'm going to do the physical, and then let the emotional and the mental catch up. So I'm going to bless you on on your tables. You'll see that you have straws. All right, everybody, grab yourself a straw. All right, you got a straw? Is there anybody left out? And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how in less than 1 minute you can use the primary humor response. What's the primary humor response? What's the first thing you do in a humor situation? Laugh. And there are those people, they go from dead serious to, but they're creepy. Most of us go through the little transition phase of what? Smile. Smile is the primary humor response. But it can't just be any smile. It's one, for reasons I won't get into, it's called the Dechaine Smile. That has to do with a little network of wrinkles you create around the eyes. And what we can do is in less than 1 minute, we can change something physically to affect ourselves emotionally. So everybody take your straw, hold it out in front of you just like this, all right? Now I want you to just about an inch or so from the top, grab a hold of that little band and peel that off, all right? Now pop that little cap off of there. Because you still have that little inner 6-year-old still somewhere inside, go ahead and indulge that little boy or girl right now. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. That is awe-inspiring, isn't it? You got to love that. Okay, now everybody place that straw lightly between your teeth. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tell our brains that we are in a state of joy using the primary humor response. So pull that upper lip away from the straw. Don't let it touch. And now as far back as you can, I want you to move that straw back as far as you can, pull your lip away, and when you're as far as you can, that's a Dechaine Smile. Right now, your brain is going, I guess we're happy. I had no idea. Things are going on right now in your brain, so just do that. And all you got to do is hold that for 1 minute. Now think about what you could do. You work with some negative people, I'll bet, right? Get yourself some straws. And when they come in with all their complaining, you just say, I'll listen to everything you say, but first, dink. And in that moment, there's a one small thing that you can do that can really change the emotional moment. Give yourselves a round of applause. I think you guys did a great job. These are small things, and they're funny, and they're silly by design. But they really do work, because sometimes we can use humor to transform pain into shared joy. And when you have a team that shares joy, they have connection, they have trust, and anything can happen. Thanks a lot.
Dave Caperton, everybody. Great job, man.